Hey there, movie pirates! Welcome aboard Captain Salvation for fun and thrill ride through the very first MCU movie post Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home. So it has been released for quite some time now, and after watching it 2 times, it's got me thinking like, is it the best Spider-Man movie ever made? So as soon as the movie starts, we're introduced to Quentin Beck aka Mysterio when he saves Nick Fury and Agent Hill when they're fighting the Sand Elemental with their pew-pew guns. Now I don't want to poke fun at their work. They gotta do what they gotta do without any special abilities, without any superpowers, to the best of their talents and the resources that they have in hand. They are willingly fighting aliens and monsters who they know they cannot overpower without any special abilities and that they could just die in an instant. Huge respect to them. But the man of the hour is Mysterio. I mean, what an amazing character which is backed up by solid creative writing, capturing every instance of his abilities from the comics, and a powerhouse performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. If you haven't checked out his filmography yet, you're missing out. That man is an absolute stunner. Now Mysterio, the character, is a failed actor and a stuntman with incredible expertise in special effects, hallucination, hypnotism, illusion, and mind tricks, which he uses incredibly well into hallucinating people to see and believe mythical monsters like the elementals, superhero fights, death, destruction, explosions, using 3D projections of already recorded action that is not happening in real life. Now that raises a series of questions as to how does all the action take place? How does it fit in every frame? If it is only pre-recorded projections, how does the communication and the damage take place? You can choreograph your fights, but how do you determine Peter's exact positions throughout the fight sequences for it to look real? How does the Molten Man know where exactly Peter is to go after him or to attack him, or even see Ned and Betty in the Ferris wheel? I mean, how does that happen? Or how does Peter's webs even get flamed when he shoots at him? That's impossible. That is fake. Or how does Mysterio even know Peter would be needing saving when he creates a bulge over both of them to protect them from the Molten Man's attacks? Or how does he even fly to Peter to deliver his superhero mentor speech? Flying is an illusion, right? A result of 3D projection. Everything except the illusion should be still. I get that the destruction was caused by the drones, but how does that even happen when they're fighting Hydro Man and Molten Man when he didn't even have Edith yet? The only way that was possible was if all the people in the situation were an illusion too. But that wasn't the case, right? Mysterio was prepared to kill as many people as it would take to make him a hero. Maybe I was too immersed in the movie, I didn't notice some things. So write down below what you think about that. Now speaking of Mysterio as a character, I was extremely impressed by his personality. He's a great actor. He fooled S.H.I.E.L.D.'s best mind with the fake story of a multiverse with the help of his crew, which consisted of mostly ex-Stark Industries employees. It was very funny in the third act when he was like, I can't hold them. They're too powerful. Somehow all the 4 elementals have joined forces and they're even more powerful now. If they get to the core, the earth will explode. Nick Fury was like, that is some serious bullshit. He's also very friendly. He's great motivator to Peter. He builds trust, he earns your respect, and then boom, he gets eaten. That's simple, huh? He's also very clever and pays attention to detail every time. For example, when the computer guy tells him of the lost drone, he immediately rushes and checks it out because that is obviously the proof for his illusions. He would absolutely leave no stone unturned. Also in the climax, when the same computer guy tells him about some birds must be messing with the drones, he immediately runs after it and finds out that yes, it's indeed a bird in a red and black costume. I loved it. I mean, that just makes him awesome, super interesting villain to watch in a great Spider-Man movie. Now, planning is a major contributor to develop a strong antagonist. He fakes his own death by the hands of Fury just to find out who else knows about Mysterio's secrets just for him to kill them. You know, no loose ends. That was incredible. Now, on the other hand, all the people snapped away by Thanos have returned, not aged a single day, to a world without Tony Stark. The message of world without Tony Stark, or who would be the Avengers leader now, or who would be the next Iron Man, has been spread evenly in the film, and which is emotional and intimidating for Peter, who just wants a little peace in his life. Now let's talk about Peter for a while. He's still a 16-year-old nervous kid who's in love with this girl and wants to tell her. But being Spider-Man prevents him from having a normal life. Which reminded me of a Game of Thrones quote, love is the death of duty and duty is the death of love. At the opera theatre, I really felt bad for Peter. He just wanted to spend some quality time with MJ, and Nick Fury keeps on interrupting, and the other guy gives him a finger, and he can't do anything because the world is going to end if he doesn't go. Now this brings another question in my mind as to why would Fury force only on Peter to cooperate when there's a guy claiming to be from another Earth which was destroyed by these elementals who are now eyeing this Earth? Why only rely on a 16-year-old when you're quite sure that the Earth will explode if these monsters get to the core? Why not call some fine Avengers? Even Peter knows that he's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and this is a job for a far experienced Avenger. Now I get that this is a Spider-Man movie and Mysterio is primarily a Spider-Man villain, but isn't it a connected universe with ton of superheroes? I mean, what is the point of it if everybody was to die 8 months after they were brought back? But since Fury puts Peter into this situation, the way they go forward with this is impressive. Now Edith is a $1 billion piece of artificial intelligence that Tony leaves for Peter after his death, and with Edith you can basically do anything and everything. You want protection, you tell her you want protection, and she'll surround you with killer drones ready to fire upon anyone who has any intention of hurting you on command. You want to kill someone, just tell her who the target is and the rest will be taken care of. You want to delete multimedia from people's phones, just say the word. You want to read text? Easy. Everything you want, everything you need is just one word away with Edith. Now Peter foolishly gives away Edith to Mysterio based on his acquaintance for 2 days. Now in 2 days, in a few hours, he came to the conclusion that Mysterio could be the next Iron Man. He could be the protector of the world, and he's already an Avengers material. I mean, like, really? Like in 2 days? When I was 16, I would still keep a track of pens that I gave to my friends, and this guy just gives away a $1 billion piece of technology. That was the one last thing his father figure left for him to a guy he barely knows anything about. When Theon Greyjoy killed John Wick's dog, which was the one last thing that his wife had left for him, he killed 300 people with guns and pens and pencils and books and swords, and Peter, he just gave it away. And besides, if you think about it, why would a superhero like Mysterio, who looks like Doctor Strange's cousin, require such high-end gadget that has the feature of killing every single person on this earth in the wrong hands? That dude is a magician. He can fly, he can shoot energy beams, he can open portals, he can teleport. It just doesn't make any sense giving that to him. Remember when Captain America didn't trust Natasha Romanoff in the Winter Soldier movie with the drive that Fury left for him? Peter should learn a thing or two from him. Oh, but that turned out the way Mysterio wanted it to. Like when Thanos said, all that for a drop of blood. Mysterio was like, all that for a pair of glasses. As it turns out, Quentin has been in the MCU even before the events of Civil War, when Tony takes credit for his breakthrough engineering and calls him crazy and fires him. A typical example of how heroes create their own villains. It was really exciting to see this arc in the story because it totally fits. Quentin hires some ex-employees, makes a plan to secure a piece of tech that he developed, executes this plan successfully, and then brilliant. I liked it. It couldn't have been any other way. Now a very important thing about MJ is that she finds out about Peter being Spider-Man. I'm glad that the makers touched this point and made her doubt him as he disappears every time there is trouble and Spider-Man. I mean, that is so obvious, come on! When Peter finally learns about Mysterio's mystery after MJ learns about his own mystery, he realizes that he has made a monstrous mistake that is going to be on him, and so he gotta fix it. And at that time, Peter actually becomes a man and takes responsibility of his actions on his own shoulders. I mean, he's not lost, but he's in pain, both physically and mentally, but with a clear picture of the plan, he moves ahead. My favorite part in this entire movie was when Peter visits Berlin to alert Nick Fury of Mysterio's true intentions, and then follows a series of beautifully choreographed hallucination sequence in which Mysterio confronts Spider-Man, revealing his true desire. The illusions created were too satisfying for me. For when Spider-Man is shooting webs at Mysterio, they become green gas kind of thing. When Spider-Man punches Mysterio's face, it's actually a wall. Peter falls to a car from a multi-story building in an illusion of saving falling MJ. And that when Spider-Man pulls Mysterio with his webs, it's actually a freaking crane. It shows that how scary Mysterio can really be without being a physical threat to Spider-Man. As soon as Mysterio gets into your head, it's over. You don't know what you're seeing, you don't know what you're touching, you don't even know where you're going or what is coming at you. You just basically become Jon Snow. You know nothing. And in the end of that sequence, Mysterio makes a train run through Peter, which kind of looked like a high-speed bullet train. And how the F did he survive that? Most likely he would have dodged it to have made it, but the film's editing didn't clear on that. I'm not sure how strong this Spider-Man really is because there is that train sequence, the fall on the car and the fall on the barricades right at the end of the movie. So there was this scene in the third act of the film that Happy and the other students, they are stuck in some museum and they are all telling each other their secrets. So Happy reveals that he's in love with Spider-Man's aunt. I believe that it was misconstructed. It made sense, but it could provide link to Spider-Man's true identity. Because Happy is in love with Spider-Man's aunt, and that same woman happens to be Peter's aunt, so duh. But worry not, Mysterio had saved this big plan for the last, as we saw that after his death, the computer guy packed up his stuff and went away. So Shuri had a similar kind of action at the end of Infinity War, but unlike that, this one really has a following. So in the post-credit scene, as Spider-Man is giving MJ a tour around the city, a giant screen shows up Mysterio's last recorded message in which he is framing Spider-Man for everything, including his own death. But there is more. Mysterio reveals Spider-Man's true identity with the freaking picture. I mean, oh my god. I was literally shouting, oh my god, why? And as soon as I realized that I had embarrassed myself in public, I returned to my calm self. Well, this was a very, very, very powerful post-credit scene which has got me even crazy hyped up for the next Spider-Man movie. Considering this to be a trilogy, there is a huge responsibility on the makers of this movie to conclude this story. There have to be serious consequences to Mysterio's actions. That made me like Mysterio even more. This is just like the Joker from The Dark Knight, where he is already ahead of the curve. Everything is planned in and after life. So that's all, guys. Those were my views on Spider-Man Far From Home. And if you like what you've seen here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we can be friends until one of us dies.